Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie, and for today's video we are talking about the black phone. So usually when I do these videos I try to do it in like a come with me style, where I take you along with me for the ride, but I wasn't really able to do that this time, unfortunately. But I did just get out of the theater from watching this. My significant other Matt did come with me, but he does not like to participate in these videos, so let's just get into talking about it. If you don't know what this film is about yet, it stars Ethan Hawke as well as, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Mason Thames. And it focuses on this small town that is plagued by the disappearance of children. Now this is another film that was very hyped kind of from the very beginning, and unfortunately due to COVID was another film that got pushed back. And so the release of this one is very exciting. It's very exciting for this film to finally be out and us to finally see it in theaters. If you do get a chance to see it in theaters, I highly suggest it. Our theater was pretty much packed, and I was actually half expecting us to have a bit of a bad theater experience just because there were some people that were kind of loud during the trailers and things, which happens, but luckily enough for us, our theater quieted down enough to enjoy it and nobody really interrupted the film, which is great, because that can definitely, as any moviegoer knows, that can definitely ruin the experience. And I really had a great time in this film. I don't think that the hype was too much, and I don't think that it ruined the film for me. I was just really hooked right away going into this film, and it kept me hooked from the beginning to end. Its runtime isn't extremely long. It's about an hour 45-ish, which I felt like gave us enough time to kind of build up the story and build a relationship with these characters that we're following, because we really are mainly following Mason's character Finney and his sister Gwen, just their lives at home, their relationship with each other and with the other kids at school, who we through Finn are kind of connected to as they go missing, and we learn more about the previous missing kids through the eyes of Finney. And I loved the way that was done. I don't want to obviously get into that too much because it is spoilers, and I really don't want to spoil this film for anybody who has not gotten a chance to see it yet, because again, I think it's definitely worth checking out. I would try to avoid any spoilers for this film. Now I will say, I think the trailer, if you haven't seen the trailer, don't watch it. I think to an extent it does kind of give some things away, but not too much. There was one moment, and if you've seen the film, you'll kind of probably guess what I'm talking about. It's kind of the first big moment in the film, where Matt audibly said, like, "oh shit," in the middle of the theater. And that, like, this is a film that had me, like, audible in the theater and jumping, which doesn't happen a lot, especially, you know, I watch a lot of horror films, obviously. And a theater experience can, I think, impact it in a good way, which is why I tend to, you know, I like going to the theater to see movies. It gives you an atmosphere while you're watching the film that I think adds to the can either add or take away from the enjoyment, like I mentioned in the beginning. And there were definitely moments throughout the film, especially kind of towards the end, where even as the crowd, people were like cheering or like audibly jumping. This film had me like tearing up towards the end of it, which I think is also something quite rare for a horror film to feel. I had a lot of emotions, good and bad, watching this film in a way that I haven't felt in a while, and I really was happy, and I'm very much happy about that. I like feeling that way, and it's not a film that, if you know me and you know my channel, when it comes to super artsy shit, generally not my go-to. It was not too much of that. It really is, and I can see people referring to this more as a thriller. It has some slasher-esque aspects to it, which of course adds to the enjoyment for me. But I could see how some people will interpret this film as a thriller, but I think it had some horror moments. I don't think that a film necessarily has to have these, like, bloodbath moments to be a horror film, but there is definitely some, like, blood, I wouldn't say blood and guts or gory moments, but there's definitely some bloody moments throughout this film, and it takes it there at times, and you feel for these characters because of the fact that you were allowed enough time to build up, which I always enjoy in my horror films. I like having kind of connections to characters and feeling for them, and if I don't feel any sort of connection to the characters, it makes it harder for me to enjoy the film, and this one did a really good job of it, and it definitely terrified me at times. And again, not to get into really any spoilers, but I did very much love the premise of this film, and I loved the way that it ended. But with that being said, I do want to tackle some spoilers at the end of this video, so that is what I'm going to be doing now. So, spoiler warning from here on out. If you have not seen the film, if you do not want it spoiled for you, please do not watch the rest of this video. So, talking about just generally the premise of this film and the kind of oh shit moment that Matt had, it is revealed to us that this phone that keeps ringing, that Finn picks up, the people that he is talking to on the other end of the phone are previous kidnapped victims who we find out, of course, are no longer alive. And I feel like that kind of information is a little bit in the trailer, but what is revealed to us is that they're basically ghosts in this room. They are able to see Finn and communicate to him through the phone. We see them at times. He does not. I love the way that they did that. I love the way that we are shown the characters. We get a little bit of a glimpse, sort of how they died. And what kind of events led to their death while trapped, but we don't really know all of it, which I liked. I liked that bit of mystery. Like, it's obviously devastating because they are children who have died, at the hands of this horrible, horrible monster, which Ethan Hawke, like, he just does such a good job of being terrifying. Like, his voice, now I have not seen, judge by you what, I have not seen the Joker yet, but now after watching this, I feel like I'm gonna have to. He, like, just listening to his voice, I was like, it gave me the chills, and the mask and everything was terrifying, but Ethan Hawke's voice is absolutely terrifying, and he was scary for sure in this film. I loved the way that the film ended with all of the kind of previous kids' attempts to get out being able to connect all together to save Finn's life. I thought that was beautiful and genius, and that is where I got like teary-eyed of him making it out and reuniting with his sister and his father, who, I mean, horrible, horrible person, but his father's apology to them at the end, I mean, obviously doesn't make up for the trauma that he put them through earlier on in the film, but hopefully he's having a realization, come to Jesus moment with his children, and will now appreciate them. That had me tearing up as well, but as soon as Finn's, like, character was able to fight off the grabber, and when he starts choking at people in our theater, were losing their goddamn minds. Like, people were, like, clapping and hooting and hollering, and I even, you know, participated a little clapping myself. because yeah, it was just so exciting to watch, because you have all these moments of like, will he get out? He gets close, being like terrified that he is actually going to like get killed, because that's the way a lot of these films go. It ends up with, unfortunately, our hero dying, but he made it out and it was great. And Matt had a little bit of plot holes with the fact that like his brother, the grabber's brother, Max, wouldn't notice those things. And he's obviously supposed to be shown as being like on drugs and kind of maybe going a little bit crazy about it, trying to like figure it out, and the fact that it took him till kind of that last minute to figure it out. But, you know, I told Matt, I was like, that shit happens all the time in real life. There was that man that kept like 3 or 4 women in his basement in Missouri for like 10 years without anybody noticing, without his own children noticing. So I do think it's fully capable. Can definitely happen. But yeah, I loved this film. I thought it was so good. So if you have seen this film, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. If you do choose to include spoilers, please put a spoiler warning at the top of your comment so that anybody who's maybe reading will be forewarned. And I will feel free to talk about this film in the comments with you guys. I would love to know your thoughts. So if you did enjoy this film, please give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more horror related content, and I will see you all again later with another video. Bye.